Everyone's talking about AI in education. Some say it's revolutionary, others say it's dangerous. But what does it actually mean for your classroom? Today, let's cut through the noise and talk about what AI is, what it isn't, and what it really means for teachers like us.
Town Square.
I'm Adam with the Town Square, and I've been a high school math and sometimes music teacher for about 15 years. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the AI hype, you're not alone. So today, let's set aside the hype. No Silicon Valley promises, no doomsday scenarios, just what you need to know as an educator who's got real students and real deadlines. By the end of this video, you'll be able to explain what AI actually is, understand why AI enhances rather than replaces teachers, identify myths and misconceptions about AI, and set realistic expectations for AI as a teaching tool, because it has the potential to become your most reliable teaching assistant. You just need to know how to leverage it. And in the rest of the series, I'll show you exactly how to do that to save hours of prep time, create better lessons, and yes, even help your students learn more effectively. So let's start at the beginning. What exactly is AI and how does it work? So let's start by talking about generative AI. That's what the G stands for in ChatGPT. What makes this different from traditional technology? Well, think of it this way. Traditional tech, like a search engine, is like a library. It's incredibly powerful for finding information that already exists. Generative AI is different because it's like a brainstorming partner. It doesn't just find things, it creates brand new text, images, and ideas based on the patterns it learned from a vast amount of information that already exists. So although it uses many of the same resources we do, like the library, it learns from those resources in a very different way. So let's talk about exactly how it does that. One of the most common and recognizable forms of AI is something called the large language model, or LLM. This is your ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, or any other AI chatbot. So we'll use these as an example to understand exactly how AI works. Think of these like an incredibly sophisticated autocomplete. You know how your phone suggests the next word when you're texting? An LLM works similarly. The key difference is scale and sophistication. The large language model has been trained on an enormous amount of text, books, articles, websites, or any other form of writing. And during that training, it learns statistical relationships between words and phrases that commonly appear together. So when you prompt it or ask a question, it's essentially calculating, based on everything I learned during my training, what's the most likely response to this prompt? In other words, which words are most commonly associated with the words in this prompt? Then it generates its response one word at a time. Each new word is the model's best prediction of what is most likely to come next. Here's a way to make this a little more intuitive. Let's think about the spelling rule I before E except after C. If you are trying to spell a new word that you've never seen before, and you know it has an IE or EI combination, you look at the letter that comes right before it. If it's a C, you write EI. If it's any other letter, you write IE. You're using a pattern you've previously learned to predict the most likely spelling in a new situation. That's essentially what AI does, but instead of just looking at one letter, it's considering thousands of words and complex patterns all at once to predict what should come next. So why do we care? Well, understanding this process is important for a few reasons. First, it explains why detailed prompts work better. You're giving the AI more context to make more accurate predictions for what you actually want. Second, it helps us understand why AI can sometimes hallucinate, which is just the tech industry's way of saying it makes mistakes but sounds really confident about them. All it's doing is predicting words that sound most likely, not what's necessarily true. So whenever I'm working with AI, I always just try to keep in mind that its job is to generate text, not truth. And this is why I can confidently say AI is not going to replace teachers. It's only predicting its most reasonable output. It doesn't have the capability to make educational judgments. It doesn't know your students, understand their individual needs, or have the educational instinct and wisdom that only comes from years of experience in the classroom. AI is your creative partner, not your replacement. The last thing I'll say about understanding how AI works is that it helps us set the right expectation. AI is your brainstorming partner and starting point, not your final authority. That part is all you. So what can AI actually do for you? Well, here's the honest truth. AI excels at the routine creative work that can easily eat up your evenings. Need 5 different ways to explain photosynthesis? AI can brainstorm those in seconds. Want to create 3 versions of a worksheet differentiated for diverse learning needs? Done. Need fresh ideas for engaging your reluctant learners? AI's got you covered. The thing that it lacks is meaningful professional judgment. It can generate content, but it can't decide what your students actually need to learn or how they learn it best. The magic happens when you combine AI's content generation with your professional expertise. You provide the vision, context, and judgment. AI provides the raw materials and possibilities, and then you steer the ship. Together, you create learning experiences that neither one could alone. And here's something else worth considering. AI levels the playing field. The differentiated materials you know your kids need but would take hours to create, AI does it in seconds. Want to maximize student engagement? AI can customize assignments tailored to each individual student's interests almost instantly, allowing you the time to focus on the important stuff, like actually teaching. So now let's address the elephant in the room, the fears that keep teachers up at night. Number one, what if my students use AI to cheat or do their assignments for them? Well, the truth is, your students are already using AI in some fashion. The question isn't whether they'll use it, it's whether they'll use it ethically and effectively. And that's where we as teachers have the opportunity to show them exactly how to do that. If we can teach them how to use AI better than they're already using it, they'll listen. We'll dive deep into this later in the series, so stay tuned for that. Number two, what if AI makes teaching less human? Actually, I would say when AI handles the routine stuff, you get more time for the human parts, building relationships, having deep conversations, being present for your students when they need you most. Again, it's all about how we use it. And if we just keep in mind that we are the experts in the field and we are driving the process, then we can drive it towards something that is more human and, aspirationally, something more enlightened. And common fear number three, what if my administrators expect me to use AI, but I don't know how? Well, that's exactly why we're here. By the end of this series, you'll be more confident with AI than most of your colleagues. You might even end up hosting some professional development with your newfound skills. Because overall, the teachers who thrive with AI aren't the ones who know the most about technology. They're the ones who know the most about teaching. Your years of experience, your understanding of how kids learn, your ability to inspire and motivate, that's what makes AI such a powerful tool. It's in your hands. So what should you expect as we move through this series together? AI is not going to magically solve all your teaching problems. You'll still have challenging students, demanding parents, and too much to do in too little time. But AI can help save some of that time while enabling you to create more engaging, more personalized learning experiences for your students. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need to be strategic about where and how AI can enhance your teaching practice. Most importantly, you're not behind. You're not too late. The teachers who started using AI 6 months ago are still figuring it out too. We're all learning together, and that's exactly why we created the Town Square for Teachers, so educators from around the world could come together to learn from each other, create together, and share ideas and best practices so we can all level up our teaching game together. In fact, we have a ton of downloadable resources specifically for teachers, a community hub for us to connect with each other, and this entire video training series all over on our website, thetownsquare.org. You can find it linked in the description below. So that's our intro to AI. It's not magic, it's not scary, and it's definitely not replacing you. It's a powerful tool that works best in the hands of experienced educators who know what good teaching looks like. Now that we've covered what AI actually is, in the next episode, we're going to jump in and use it. I'm going to show you a simple formula that transforms how you communicate with AI so you can get exactly what you want out of it. And we'll solve that real problem that every teacher faces, creating engaging lesson content when you're pressed for time. If this was helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Helps other teachers find these resources and lets us know that we're on the right track with these videos. And I've created a free teacher's guide to AI that summarizes everything we've covered today, plus answers some of the most common questions teachers ask. You can grab it at thetownsquare.org, linked in the description. I'm Adam, and I'll see you in the next episode when we roll up our sleeves and put AI to work. Thanks for watching.
Town Square.